This program is brought to you by Bell Beverages.
Who interviews the interviewer? Obviously me, AwuraAbena. Now, I welcome you to an exciting episode on the Untold TV show. And joining me is an amazing personality. When you talk of media, I mean, definitely his name pops up. When you talk about voiceover, his name pops up. And it's an amazing opportunity for me to talk about Leaked, how it started, how he gets his stories. I'm sure you know the person already. Let's go on a commercial break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Special thanks going to Bella Aqua Mineral Water for giving us these. So we have the Bella Aqua Water, we have their energy drink boss. So if you've not gotten one for yourself, please do that. And we have the Bell Cola. And my favorite, the Bell Ice. The alcohol percentage is not that much, so you should get one for yourself and try it. You definitely love it. So it's time to unveil my guest for today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Foley.
Yay.
All right, Jay.
An audience here to get a wild applause.
Maybe we could do that ourselves. Jay Foley. Woo. Oh yeah. I hope you're not going to interview me today.
I'm listening. Today I'm the one who's supposed to be answering the questions.
And it's going to be like that. I'm very sure.
I'm very sure. 100%.
Viewers, please, you are my witness. All right, so tell us something about Jay Foley. What is a real name? I mean, I'm not sure your real name is Jay Foley.
Well, I remember asking Tiwa Savage this question a couple of days ago. That what's the name itself? Tiwa Savage. He says no, Savage is my real name. I'm like, oh my days, I never knew. So quickly I went on Google to go and try and check it out, and actually it's Tiwa Tope Savage. So Savage is her real name. All right. So my name is Jay Foley. So it's actually John Foley. So Jay Foley.
Oh, yeah. John Foley.
Yeah. Well, if you can add a third one to it, so it's Mensa. So it's John Mensa Foley. So it's Jay.
John Mensa.
Yeah, Jay.
John Mensa. I think John Mensa is a footballer. Or?
Well, so usually people confuse the spelling of Mensa. If there's an H at the end, usually it's a surname.
Okay.
Without the H, you find it in there as a middle name, like a third born. So that's how it works.
Are you a guy? You look like one.
Well, I'm not Ga. I'm half Fanti, half Ewe. But unfortunately, because I can't speak Ewe, I speak Fanti, so I'm more associated with the Fanti side of my life.
What's today?
Oh yeah, look at Fanti pa.
Look at Fanti pa. Oh, I'm home was it?
Yeah, dirty Fanti. You're not welcome to our space.
I'm trying. So, how did you start with media?
The media journey is very, very long, interesting one.
Okay.
And I was dated back to 1998. I think that was just around sometime JHS or something like that. When 1999, when Hammer released the Obrafo's Paimuka album.
I wouldn't know because 1999 I was born that year.
So that was when Obrafo released his first album produced by Ham of the Last Two. I was very much inspired by the instrumentation. So it sort of kicked my interest in wanting to be a sound engineer.
Okay.
So I remember I used to listen to the album back to back to back. I had the cassette. My brother had the cassette, he would play it, so automatically it's mine too.
Exactly.
I played over and over again in the car, listen. And after JHS, just like how everybody, you go to SS, you want to rap. So I think I got myself in the rap game. Me and my friends, we formed a group. I even forgot the name of the group. Or if we formed a group, and trying to perform on school stages and platforms. After SHS, we were home. We will spend, I don't know about now though, but we will spend a whole year at home doing nothing. So for me, within that period, I got in touch with Ham of the Last Two. I went to him that I wanted to learn how to be a sound engineer. And he was very surprised because everybody goes to Hammer wanting to rap.
Yeah.
So that day you go to the studio, there's so many rappers there. And here's one guy singled out that he says he wants to learn how to play beats. So for Hammer, he found interest. And because I also had the passion and the zeal to really want to learn how to become a sound engineer, a producer, he took me under his wing to tutor me, mentor me. So I was like Hammer's sidekick. Hammer goes everywhere with me. He hangs out with me. There's not a single place he doesn't move. And that's when I got to know him. Wow. So we developed a very good relationship, and through that, it sort of ushered me into the space of music media, if I can say. So back in the time, you see the likes of the early days of Kwakese, Tiny, big shouts to the legend Blitz Ambassador. But that back in the day was called Bazawule. I saw the Bra Force. And there were two factions. There was a JQ faction and then there was a Hammer faction. So in JQ's camp, you see Konte Hene, you see Samini Dems, you see, that side, 4x4, they were all coming to the same studio.
Wow.
So for me, it was an introduction to all these artists. And for the ones who hadn't really come out at that time, some would try and actually pass through me to want to get to Hammer because I was always in Hammer, Trigmatic, and I mean the list is endless. So I got to know all of them. I'm happy because they've known me from that time, from as far back as 99, 2000. So it's like 23 years now of good friendship, So that was what started or sparked the interest in getting to showbiz.
Okay.
Through all that time, I think later on in 2005, 2006, then I chanced upon voiceovers.
Okay.
So I'd been a producer, making my beats, connecting my own artists. I had a squad of artists. We used to call ourselves Crossroads. And then later on transitioned into my 2131 brand. I had artists, we're more like friends, not even artists, like I've signed them, no.
Yeah.
We're friends. So myself, Easy, Easy, the artist, Easy.
Yeah, I know.
Back in the day, first lady of Links Entertainment. Edem, Trigmatic, quite a number of them. Man, names have even skipped me.
Wow.
So we used to all hang out together those times a lot. And then when I went into uni, I think I got more involved in voiceovers through a colleague who had asked me to do a voiceover.
Okay.
And I did one voiceover for one of the hall weeks. It was Independence Hall in KNUST called Indies Hall. I did the voiceover, and then I got interested in it. So when I finished KNUST and I came back to Accra, then I set up my own studio. I started working with this big boss of mine, and later on got my own equipment, set up my own studio. And then one day I was there when I got a call from Chris Atto, who was also a student in KNUST at that time, but he was way ahead of me.
Yeah. Chris
needed a jingle for Rhythms, a show that's now on GH1. I don't know when you're watching this interview though, but it's now on GH1 in Ghana here. It's a TV station. So I produced the song with Trigmatic, and it became GH1's Rhythms official theme music. Through that, I was there one day minding my own business, and I got a call from George Quay.
Okay.
Says he wanted to do some commercials.
Wow.
So George Quay would bring me commercials from Charterhouse. Back in the day, it was Ghana Rocks, the Ghana Music Awards. That time I think it was MTN or so. What was it?
Yeah, MTN. Back in the days, it was MTN.
And he'll bring me a lot of jobs, So I started getting myself ushered into that space. Now I was meeting people. Then I remember I got to know DJ Black. I was so excited when I met DJ Black for the first time. I mean, legend DJ Black.
Yeah.
Eddie Blay and them. So Eddie Blay was doing Smash TV at that time.
Okay.
Now it's quite interesting. Foresight TV is like a replica of Smash TV. So Eddie Blay was one of the first guys who paved the way of that kind of entertainment shows where you hit the streets, you hit parties and stuff like that.
Okay.
So you can imagine, well, I hadn't started doing Foresight by then, but me meeting Eddie Blay, like, I was like, whoa, dude, I've been watching you from, NFL, his music squad and all. So I was really excited.
That too.
Yeah.
Oh,
big shout out to Eddie Blay. So, I mean, I'm coming from a very long way.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, I met Jeremy,
Yeah.
whose very good friend was a guy called Wolf. Now, Wolf was the host of Foresight TV at that time. So I used to hang out with Wolf and Jeremy a lot. They were always either in my studio, we go hang out in places, parties and stuff like that. So one day, Wolf went off Foresight, and I think he got another platform to be on.
Okay.
And the seat was vacant. So the boss called me and says, but you cry every day, you are hanging out with Wolf, so you should know how Foresight TV is done. I'm like, what?
Oh.
He says, yeah, come and host it. I'm like, what? Me? Shouts to my Kofi. My Kofi was the one who plays that call to me. And then the boss, Ignis, followed up. So I went to Foresight to try and shoot Foresight TV.
Wow.
I sucked at the first episode. I mean, it was terrible.
Very.
But I don't know what the boss saw in me. I mean, he saw something. I don't know what
Would you call that grace?
Could be grace, luck, opportunity. All comes at the same time. Like, when it aligns. And of course, when it aligns well, nothing can stop it. Because for me, I didn't think they were going to call me back the second week.
Yeah.
But when I watched myself on the weekend on Foresight TV, I was like, okay, they pieced the corrections very well. Because I think every sentence I made a mistake in there. But it was fun. The following day, the following week, following month, I kept on it, and boom, the birth of Jay Foley. And even that, prior to that, let me take you back to 2099 or so. Hammer was like, what's my name? I said, yeah, I said John Foley, but it says my nickname. And then I said, so back in the day in Motown, people used to call me Johnny B. So Johnny B. And then it's like, nah, bro. I'm going to change your name. I'm going to call you Jay Foley. It's more corporate. It fits you better. So Hammer named me, he started calling me Jay Foley. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I know, right? And it's a brand I've lived with for the rest of my life to today.
Good. So Jay, I mean, you got me lost at a point because you started from 99 and I wasn't born by then. I was like, oh my God, I'm so young. What's happening? How old are you?
I don't know when you're watching this interview, but it's 2003. I turned 40. I know, right? Yeah. I'm an OG. Yeah. Yeah.
But you look so young.
I heard the story 1,001 times. I had
no possibility.
Yeah, who says I don't have pot belly? I have pot belly.
Jay, come on.
I turned 40 in this year, July 2023.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I've been here for a minute, right?
Please, I'm still in shock. So I would want Jay to give us some short rap, like maybe I could do.
I remember a rap I did.
No, you should.
So myself, EL, and Wolf dropped a song called Chale. I think my verse was, I know you know they like me, Chale, because I came along to snatch your wifey, Chale. Now you're in my face, called, I forgot, man.
Oh my God.
Chale was a long time ago, man.
Chale, we're gonna move with the flow, Chale.
Hey,
this is the Untold TV show, Chale. And the host is AwuraAbena saying, Chale. You know how we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. We're going on a commercial break, Chale. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in the rapping mood, okay? But I don't want to disgrace myself. I actually did well previously, so I wouldn't want to disgrace myself now. But now let's talk about podcast, audio series, it's not. I would say I personally don't really like listening, just doing listening, but listening to lead, it feels like you are in it, and the sound that accompanies with the voice acting. I've cried listening to lead. So Jay, how did you get this whole concept of lead and the title lead? Because if we talk about lead, it's either you are in school and some Paul has dropped or some lager. Those who went to the butchery and these at this school, you say lager. So the lager don't drop, so Paul has lead. Or maybe there was this lady that is doing that. And has leaked. You understand what I'm saying? Exactly. So how did you come up with that idea?
Let's tell the story back to understanding that Jay is an audio person.
Okay.
I treat audio as the way a woman would treat a baby. I have a lot of love, care, attention, paying attention to details. So I love to explore the products of anything audio. So as we speak, there's a microphone attached to us. If somebody is crazy about, working with lapels, somebody's crazy about DJing, music, audio, somebody's crazy about, there are so many products out of audio.
Yeah.
But mine is voice. So I set up a company called the Radio Advertising People.
Yeah.
So that was in 2006 to just handle doing radio jingles and commercials. And even in that, it was very difficult because at that time, when anybody said I'm going to the studio, recording studio, it was specifically to go and do music. And for anyone who wanted to do a voiceover, there was no one place to go to that was solely into voiceovers. There were studios that were doing music and voiceovers, but I wanted just to have voiceovers. So I set that up, and God being so good, we managed to get connected to a lot of agencies across Ghana and Africa. We produce a lot of work. I'm sure if I said I'm going to count the number of radio ads we've produced, probably in the hundreds or thousands, or I don't know. Somebody might say I'm exaggerating, but possibly I can hit 1 million.
Wow.
Because we've done a lot. Now, it's through all this experience that's birthed the edge to do something different from doing a regular 60-second commercial or 35-second commercial or 15-second commercial.
Yeah.
We're thinking of what we wanted to do. So remember when the studio one time when my partner was like, you know what? No, that was so sorry. 2012,
Okay.
we created, we wanted to create a podcast, an audio podcast. That's in 2012.
Wow.
I don't think podcasts were even popular at that time.
Not at all.
So we wanted to create an audio podcast. And I started writing a story and recording. So at that time, Jeremy was in there, Miss Na of back in the day, YFM was in there, and Nokos, Nakwame Osesapon, who was also from YFM, was in there. I got a lot of stars to be part of the audio series, but it didn't work out.
Okay.
Because the world wasn't ready for it at that time, or Ghana wasn't ready for it at that time. So I didn't even try releasing it because I didn't get enough people to buy into the idea.
Okay.
But prior to that, sometime in 2009, we used to produce this audio podcast called The Banging Hip Hop Show.
Okay.
So it was radio, but pre-recorded radio, perfectly edited, no mistakes. It's like going on radio and you're listening to radio with not a single error.
Wow.
But again, people didn't buy into that idea at that time. So from 2012, I shelved the idea somewhere and then I let it go. 2020, we're in the office and I'm like...
During COVID?
Yeah, just after the lockdown.
Okay.
I'm like, we're talking about, somebody has shared an audio clip of some girl and a guy who were chatting. I think it had leaked.
Yeah.
So they were just talking among themselves. And then we're laughing in the office and we're like, you know what? How about we create our own engineered leak conversations?
I told
Okay.
The leak.
Our own engineered leak conversations. So it could go viral on social media.
Yeah.
And so I just took my laptop, started typing out a story.
Wow.
Just typing out. And my colleague who's very good at giving names, I was like, so what name should we call it? He says leaked. I'm like, okay, leaked. So we chose leaked. So I was just writing the story. I remember I just written about the first few lines. And then I got a call from a lady friend of mine who wanted to learn how to do voiceovers. She's called Margaret Barden.
Okay.
She had been coming to me wanting to learn how to do voiceover, but I hadn't really even given her that much attention.
Exactly.
But that day when she started talking, her voice and what I was writing synchronized.
Yeah.
It takes a certain emotion to get that feeling.
Yeah.
So I was like, where are you? She said she's home. I said, come to the studio. Before she got to the studio, I had written about 3 or 4 episodes of a story of a girl who, in the beginning, who faked her rape.
Yeah.
She faked that she had been raped, and later on used that to blackmail some guys and then took money. But when we released the story and it got to episode 6 out of 21, the reaction that I was getting from the audience and people who were listening had taken a bit more serious on the conversations of rape than I had envisaged.
Yeah.
So I cancelled 7 to 21 and I wrote it again, of a story of a 21-year-old girl who was raped by 4 boys who were in school, who wore masks. So she's narrating her ordeal, coming out from a very poor background, which attributes to economic hardships, social injustice, gender inequality, sexual abuse. So she narrates all these things that she's gone through. But the reaction we got, on social media was so crazy that now girls had idolized the character. Girls who especially had been victims had idolized the character. So they sought this comfort from listening to her story, because they haven't been bold to come out to say, but she is. So we got quite a number of people, reacting to Leaked, and for me, it was an audio series because this was the space that we were good in. I'm good at writing. I've been scripting commercials all my life for like 20 years, so I was able to draw imagination. And because I have good music background, when it comes to scoring, I didn't even realize I was that good at it, but we managed to create a very powerful product, and we shared on social media, on YouTube. We got a lot of strikes, copyright strikes, and flags from YouTube on content and all. So I remember they shut the channel down for a bit, but through that we still pushed, and I think it did very, very well. For the people that were targeting, Leaked as an audio series, and I didn't want to take it into video because everybody had their own imagination of how the characters and the scenarios looked like, and I didn't want to touch that. So I left it at that, and it had been beautiful. We're still running Leaked, and
you should check it out.
Yeah, and there were moments in there that, trust me, if I tell you some of the stories, that I remember one time there was a part in Leaked where the lead character Mame, just couldn't take it any longer, who had been raped, couldn't take it any longer, so she wanted to commit suicide because everybody had turned her down. So she drank kerosene from her. She said she drank kerosene from her chemistry class to kill herself. Now, that story is actually true. So there was a lady, and during when Leaked was running, there was a lady who had gone through the worst. I won't give too much details. Who calls me on phone, trying to commit suicide.
Wow.
Yes. One evening when I was just uploading Leaked, she called. It was a crazy experience I had, but thank God she's fine. Thank God she's fine now. And for me, that tells you the seriousness and the connection that people had with the audio series.
Yeah.
So I couldn't play with it any longer, and it took me a lot of thinking. Sometimes I sit down in my own space, I'm creatively blocked, I'm getting reactions from the audience. Women are sending harrowing stories of their rape ordeals, and I don't even know how to handle this. I'm like, wow, women are going through a lot.
So how women are benefiting from it. Do you think Leaked is ever going to come to an end?
That's a very good question. People have asked me to end it. People have said I shouldn't end it. I go with my guts. I'm going till a breakthrough, an international breakthrough. I'm not stopping it. I'm not stopping because the conversations on rape hasn't ended.
It hasn't, not at all.
So whether the numbers have gone down or not, that is just a common interest of everybody watching the series. At the point in time, people will fall out. But there'll be new audience. People in Kenya haven't listened to Leaked. People in Australia haven't heard Leaked. People in China haven't heard Leaked. But rape is global. Yeah. So we're going to keep on till, I don't know. And somehow, some way, the story is just, it's not a J generated. It's divine. It's divine.
So I can't remember at Foresight you used to present with Jeremy.
Yeah.
And it was all over. People were suspecting
relationship.
Jay Foley and Jeremy's thing going on. So today, I'm for so many years, I've not been able to ask him this question. So I want to ask you, is it really true? Was it true?
People have asked me this question billion times.
Oh, I mean, it was all of it.
In the moment of when the foresight was happening, to protect our sanity, to protect our space, we're very private people. Yes, we had a relationship
Okay.
for a very long time. But of course, I mean, we all grew separate ways. Yes. So for that time, yes. But we didn't want to just put it out there. But it was public knowledge to the person that it mattered to the most.
Okay.
Yeah, industry friends and folks. Yeah, but I mean, we all moved on. I'm a happily married man. I've got 3 kids. I'm smiling in my place. Jeremy's fine. So yeah, it's Ayan said, "Are you cool now?" I know. People will say that, "Oh yeah, you gel, you should do this." Yeah, I mean, there are moments.
But I mean, that would have been a very nice combination. J and J 2023. I mean, that's what is trending. Maybe I should get married and do it.
Oh, that wasn't God's plan for us.
Yeah, that's very true.
For the moment, it was ideal. Maybe the relationship propelled the brand propelled the relationship, you know. For Foresight, it was good. There was good connection, but everything has a beginning. Everything has a beginning, has an end. So it ended.
Okay, so now you are with 3 Music. I mean, you were from. As of the time I heard of you, got to know about you. You were with Foresight TV, and you moved to Joy Prime.
Well,
I don't know if you do.
So I was with Foresight TV from 2007. 2007, yes, I did.
Class 2 by then.
I did 9 years or almost 10 years of Foresight. 10 years of Foresight TV.
Okay.
Yes, and then I moved to. I was through the Foresight time. I went to work with YFM.
Okay.
In 2009, YFM started. I joined YFM officially in 2012. I was not a staff, but I was being engaged.
Okay.
I was producing their jingles and stuff for them, commercials, liners and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I went to Live FM under EIB.
Okay.
Then from Live FM, I went to multimedia. I joined Hits FM. And then from Hits FM, they pushed me to Joy Prime.
Okay.
And then I did a bit of GH1 when I was at EIB as well, Joy Prime. And then from Joy Prime, I went to 3 Music, which I'm currently at on this day that you're watching this video.
Amazing. So would you say that production work, what we do now is, with the setup, everything, production. But most of the times, it feels like producers do not get accreditation as compared to presenters because of the fact that presenters are the ones on screen. So do you think we are being fair to the producers?
Well, it's for our part, on our part of the world, I don't know. You know, when credits are rolling on the screen, nobody really cares. The movie has ended.
Yeah.
Nobody really cares about the ending.
Exactly, that's true.
But for the people who matter, who want to know, they will know. In our part of the world, I think that yes, sometimes you don't get producers getting the credits, you know, that they. But it will only become important to you when you want to get into production. Then you start looking for producers, you know, like Bafo, who you need to get your setup done right.
Exactly.
So it's fine if you don't see the faces behind the camera. It's okay. That's the nature of it. You see us who are in front of the camera. But it's only when you're ready to get into this business, then you see how important it is. It's like you buy a brand new car, the mechanic is the next person in line. You know, nobody sees the mechanic at the front.
Yeah.
But when your car is on the road, it's you who's driving, everybody's watching. So yeah, sometimes we may not get the credits, but that's the nature of the job, and it's fine. We are cool with it. I don't think Bafo is complaining.
No, he's not complaining. Shout outs to Bafo, my producer. Okay, have you ever cried before?
Oh, several times.
Really? Not crying as in you've been beaten and you're crying, or maybe your girlfriend, back before you got married, your girlfriend broke your heart and you were crying. But then at a point, did you feel like giving up?
Several times. These things hit us up. There was one point in time in one of the stations I was working at where I couldn't take it any longer because I felt there was more I could offer and I could give that I wasn't doing. So I think a bit of depression set in. I felt there was more I could attain than what I was at that moment. So I was having setbacks with my own self, fighting my own demons. So I remember that time very well. I went sit in my car one morning after my show, sat in my car, and I broke down into tears. And I felt way better after crying.
Wow.
After letting out the tears, because crying is therapy, you know. So I felt way better after crying. I let out my emotions, and then I think my head was screwed on better. So I took bold decisions at that time. And I haven't regretted those decisions.
Not at all.
Yes.
So we are still on the same question because I'm interested. Lots of the youth wants to go into media, but then their parents do not second to that. So did you experience that? I mean, because if your mom or your dad is asking you, Jay, what do you want to be in future? I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. Because you talk so well, so lawyer. Or maybe I want to be a pilot. In your case, did you tell your parents you want to be a sound engineer or?
Yeah.
You did?
And I had 100% support from them.
Oh.
100% support because, you see, what people also need to understand is that you need to prove your worth to your parents. You need to gain trust of what you are asking them to trust you on. It's very important, and for me, I think it was one thing that I did very well because through those times when I was home after SS and I was doing nothing, my eagerness and zeal for wanting to be in that space convinced them. Okay. When I go out, I come back home. I come back home in time. Even if I didn't come home in time, where I was, what I was doing, they could tell it was paying off because I come back home, I'm practicing at home. So they sort of see a direction for their son at a very early age. So when I decided to go full-fledged, my first studio was purchased for me by my mom.
Wow.
I was working with a certain, I mentioned this big boss of mine, and I told him I wanted to buy the studio. It came as a shock to him, but it didn't. My parents knew that if they invest in me, it will yield something. So they didn't hesitate, and my mom stepped in and then she helped me acquire my first studio. And I don't think I've failed her since then.
Wow.
I've proven to them that decision they took of believing in me. So I do understand that, and sometimes parents would also want to direct your path. School is very important. So far as you have your education, anything else you want to do is ideal. And I think in this generation, parents are being a bit more relaxed on allowing their kids to explore a bit more, as compared to then. But if you want to prove your worth to your parents, let them understand, let them see results from the things you are asking to do, and don't be stubborn. Work hand in hand. Just imagine that you also had a child and was doing that. What would you do?
Yeah.
Same way. So I was lucky, and my parents bought into the idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
It seems you were a mama ba. Oh, that's not how they say it.
Well, I'm parents ba.
Parents ba.
I'm daddy and mommy.
Okay, now let's move from business talks and So how many girls have you
dated? Dating. It's so funny that I'm actually married to my first girlfriend. Yeah, I know. We're married.
Wait, I have to understand because at first you made mention of Jerry.
So Jerry wasn't my first girlfriend.
So, your very first, and you came back.
Yeah. So I'm married to my first.
Uncle Jay.
Yeah. So, I dated. Let me see. 2, 3, maybe 4 people. Well, this is spanning from like 18 to 40. 4 or 5. Yeah, you may have had crushes at the point in time, but that's very human. That's normal.
Yeah.
You meet people, you like them, it doesn't work out, you move on. You meet people, you like them, it works out, you stay on for a while, you break up. You meet people, you like them, you stay on, you marry them, and you're with them, you have kids with them. So, yeah.
Wow.
We're wishing you all the best in this new journey of yours.
I want to be a reverend sister.
Doesn't matter. That doesn't still matter. You're human, aren't you?
But I want to be a reverend sister, so there's no need.
Creation is staring at you.
How?
Well, God asks us to procreate.
I'm following Apostle Paul.
Well, I don't want to ask questions.
Oh, feel free, because there's going to be a session where you'll be allowed to ask me just a question.
Today is your day.
Just a question.
Just one question.
Just one.
We'll get there.
One.
Then I'm gonna start thinking about it.
Please don't do it now.
I'll think
do
about
it now.
I'll think about it.
No, you have to.
They say save the best for last.
No.
How about we save the best for last?
Yeah, we are having it now. Ask me.
I'll think about it.
Okay. So if you are wondering why we are seated this way, we are home. We are basically, all right. And Jay, this is Untold. You should tell us something that you've never told anybody or the public. So what do you think we should know about you? Because AwuraAbena knows that you worked with Foresight, YFM, you worked with Hammer, you worked with Multimedia, you are now with 3 Music. Aside that, I think you MC too.
Well, most on-air personalities, that will be another side of us, because we definitely go on the microphone. So regardless whether the microphone is in studio or outdoor, we'll do it. So that's why I would find a lot of on-air personalities MC. Things, untold stories about myself. It's quite difficult to see which part of my life I haven't put out yet. I think I've almost put everything out. I play the flute.
Okay. Really?
Yes. I know I've put out things like I want to be a pilot at a point in time, but unfortunately it's too late. I can't be a commercial pilot now. So maybe just a private experiences. I think because of the show business that we find ourselves in, almost everything about people like myself is always out there.
Yeah.
Yes, our stories are so public. Aside from the fact that, I can't even find anything in there.
Okay, so let me help you.
Tell me.
So, do you think when it comes to media, men are favored as compared to women, or you see it the other way? Women are favored as compared to men?
If you ask this question, I'll tell you that it will depend on the geographical location, because when you watch some media platforms like the BBTs and CNN, I even see more women in there than men, on-air personalities. So that is, for me, it will depend on the geographical location. In Ghana, you have a lot of women who are in the media space.
Yeah.
You have more men who are doing the job.
No.
And that's why we have to look at the question again. You have a lot of men who are doing the behind the scenes job than on the front. So yeah, you have men carrying cameras, you have men fixing cameras, setting up lights, sound, you have men selling equipment, you have men setting up the institutions, but you have in Ghana currently 2023 now, as we're shooting now, you have even a lot more women who are heads of media houses. Example, Charterhouse is a woman, TV3 is a woman, 3 Music, it's a woman, and so on and so forth. You have one of the very influential Nanabas and Co, who are managing GH1s, and as at the time we're filming this and Co. So you have women even more in that space. But maybe the manual duty, the manual job, the fixing of the cables and stuff like that, is where it becomes a male-dominated space. But clearly because it's of interest, which is not bad. I mean, you have more male mechanics and female mechanics, right? It's just interest. And I think job careers are also based on what you feel would, it has a bit of gender conversations in there. So you have more, maybe nurses being females than men. They are male nurses, but there are more female nurses. Yes, it's just because of interest. Women love to care, show affection and stuff like that more. So it rubs off stuff like that, So I wouldn't say that the media space in Ghana is populated by men because it favors men. But it depends on which parts of the media you're looking at. I think there are more female on-air personalities than even male personalities, maybe. But clearly, you'd have more men behind the scenes.
But there are some women behind the scenes. I mean, I can't even mention names.
But you can count them.
No, I can't. There are many.
Same as you'd have a lot of women at the front, like yourself, championing this cause. And there are lots of prominent female personalities, lots of them, In our time, in our day and age now, the Bearless, the AJ Sapongs, the list is just endless, on and on and on. So, yeah, I don't think it doesn't favor a particular gender. It's an open conversation.
Okay. So do you think it is very difficult going into the media space, especially for those of us that we are done with school, but we did not do anything communication or journalism, but yes, we want to be in the media space to do journalism, reporting. Do you think it is very easy or difficult?
The first part of the question is what we have to address. Media. I bet you are on social media. It's a type of media.
Oh, yeah.
Did you suffer to get on there?
I did.
What kind of suffering?
Because I needed to get data. I needed to get a phone. Oh yes, I did. It's part of the suffering.
So you want to compare that to trying to get to work
Get
on?
time. I needed to even think of the name to use as my username.
I see.
Yes.
That clearly is a lot of work, no problem.
Good work.
But clearly, social media is the new wave of, or digital media is a new wave of media.
Okay.
And it hasn't come to replace traditional media, which is radio, television, and print. It's just come to add on, but it's offered a much more easier access to being a media personality. So for me, once you have a social media account on any platform, you already ushered yourself into the media space.
Yeah.
As to what you do there, is what will define you as a journalist, as a broadcaster, as a producer, and all of that. So already it is not difficult to be in media.
Okay.
It is a bit complicated to be in traditional media. Because, example, if you want to jump on radio or TV, the owners of these platforms would want a certain professionalism certification before they give you access.
Yeah.
But it's not bad, because if you bought your brand new Mercedes today, and you didn't know me from anywhere,
I won't make
and I
a
asked you that,
mistake.
please, can I drive your car?
never.
You say you asked my driver's license, and you want to see if I even know how to drive.
Yes, I have to see videos of it.
Yes, to prove.
Yeah.
In the same vein, for the owners of these broadcast houses, because media is a very powerful platform, and even look at the damage that traditional digital media can bring,
Okay.
you know, and the level of influence. So clearly, traditional media would have its complexities because they want to take you through the vigorous process of making sure. So that presents challenges. But for digital media, you don't need any validation.
Really?
You can just start it off and go on yourself.
Okay.
And I want to encourage for those people who want to jump into the media space. And the media space is broad. It's not just being on camera. So many things in there that you can do on the media. Writers, producers, thinkers,
Yeah.
I mean, you name them. It's broad. So the space you find yourself in, please read extensively, practice, be knowledgeable in the space, because you are going to communicate, you're going to influence.
Yeah.
So if you don't have good background and good knowledge to the things you want to communicate, you might. You can imagine the damage, not even disgrace, the damage that you can cause. Look at the amount of fake news that circulates on the platforms, because unprofessional media personalities do not do the due diligence of going to investigate, find the source, confirm stories before they put it out.
Yeah.
It's copy and paste journalism, which has become a big problem.
And now with AI is available, you just
Making it worse.
Please write AI this that, write an article on this, and it produces
The whole thing.
you. It's making us lazy.
Very
Youth,
lazy.
arise, shine for better Ghana. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so if someone is watching and knowing the fact that you are into voice acting and voiceover, and the person is wondering, voice. So what's the difference between the voiceovers and voice acting? And the second question is, how do I know that I will fit well in voiceovers or in voice acting?
There's one golden rule that I use, and I'd always say this is my policy. Once you have a voice, once you can speak, you can be a voice artist, be it narration or acting.
Okay.
Once you can speak, you can always train. But there are people who are lucky to have very soothing, bassy voices and all that give them an extra.
Exactly.
There are people who are articulate with their language, whose pronunciations are on point. Those things are extras that allow them to be able to stand out. But once you can speak, you can fit into any of them. For voiceovers, usually it's like the name suggests, it goes over something.
Yes.
Over music, or something in the background, But for voice acting, just as the name suggests, I mean, it's usually for purposes of role play. You understand? So and for the role play bit, it's even the easiest bit, because every single day we are acting. This conversation, my inflections in my voices and all, it's all an act,
Okay.
If I'm sad, I know how I want to speak. If I'm happy, I know how I want to speak, However, it is a bit more professional in the voiceover space. I keep saying that if you want to be a voice over artist, one of the golden rules that you always have to also put in your mind is that pronounce your words as if it were the first word of the sentence. So you don't swallow any word. You because you cannot tell how we are hearing things, you know. So you need to make sure that you're pronouncing every single word the way it's supposed to be pronounced, so we can hear you loud and clear, you know. And that's one of the things that stand out. But over time, you would learn the skill and the arts. Keep practicing. If you want to be a voiceover artist, you need to keep practicing a lot. Be very fluent in the language that you want to be noted in. And I don't know why people always rush to be in English. There's so many languages. Tree, Ghana, ever. I mean, that's for Ghana. You know, and all of that kind of Portuguese and all. And equally they pay. I know, right? English is over. No, but it will surprise you that there's more opportunity for voice artists to do local languages in Ghana than English, because we have more mass related products that are for the masses than those that are for the English speaking community. Yeah, so if you speak good Twi and you're a voice artist and you speak impeccable Twi, you get a lot of jobs.
Now there's a testimony. So my very first time, I told Jay that I wanted to do voiceovers, and Jay asked me to come to his office. So I went there. Then he gave me a script. It wasn't logo. It wasn't. So then he gave it to me. Then he was like, go through it. I was like, okay. After 5 minutes, I was like, Jay, I'm done. He was like, you are not done. I was like, I'm done. He's like, where's your pen? Where's your pencil? Like, you're supposed to be underlining things to know how you pronounce this. And I was like, but I'm just going to read to you. I got there and I went to do nonsense things. Like, I mean.
Well, for people who speak professionally in advertising products or reading stories, they are voiceover artists. So we take it the extra. It's like, do you ride a bicycle?
Yeah.
Okay. I think, but they are professional cyclists. Yeah. So there's a difference. For the professional cyclists, they are taking their breath control into consideration and all those things, exercising. But for regular cyclists, I mean, we don't need all that. Same applies to the voice artists. We talk every day, but for the voice artists, if I am going to speak, I want to make sure that you're hearing everything and I'm pronouncing the words rightly.
But I mean, that helped. After that, I did some recordings and it has helped. And even recently, I have a semester project to do, and I did the voiceovers, and it was amazing.
Congratulations.
Though I had cold, but you wouldn't really feel that, oh, this girl is not well. I did it
well done.
So thank you so much.
Good water from Belacqua.
Yes.
Cheers.
Oh yes, I just poured it on you. Sorry. I'm so happy. I'm so happy interviewing you, and I mean, I can go on and on and on and on to ask so many questions. But Jay, I'm giving you the opportunity to ask me just 2 questions.
Okay.
Please, I beg you.
All right.
Jay,
question number 1.
Please wait. Please, in the name of God.
Yes.
Please. I know the question. There's this question that is like my heart is telling me that you ask.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I'll take it away from all
the
things you are thinking. What have you learned from this interview?
Okay, so I've learned how to present very well. Initially, I was nervous because the mindset was, you're coming to interview a media personality. What are you going to do? And they told me that I'm going to make about 5 mistakes. But viewers, I just made 1 mistake. No, I did not make any mistake. Oh yeah, I got you. So that's it. I mean, you're not supposed to be nervous. You have to believe in yourself, have confidence. Because I mean, the moment you have confidence, you'll be able to speak freely. Just like I'm doing.
My last question. So in a few years from today, what is this show supposed to, where do you see this show, sorry?
On TV, not just Ghana, but international. Amen.
Amen. All right, those are just my 2 questions.
Are you sure? Yeah. But I want you to ask me that question now. Oh, Jay.
These are the 2 inspiring questions I want to ask. And I think I've got
that question.
I think I've got inspiring answers. So people keep saying that for us in the media, we are always quick to want to ask things that's sort of either critique or sort of bring your name down.
Yeah.
Yes, or to puncture holes in people's brands.
Okay.
So for me, one of the things I stand strongly on is I try to stay away from negativity. So always be positive minded.
Exactly.
And I'm sure this conversation that we had today is going to go a long way to inspire somebody out there.
Exactly.
So I leave it at that.
I mean, as it's inspiring them, I'm sure they are asking, how can I connect with Jay?
Well, I'm very responsive, I beg your pardon. I'm very responsive on social media, on all my platforms, even on YouTube. When you comment and you ask of me, I'll come and read it and then come and reply. So you'd always have me on there.
So please watch Leaked. Listen to Leaked. Okay, it's on YouTube. So listen to it. So aside Leaked, what other audio series? I mean, you can list them out. So
yes, so we just recently finished up with Pillow and Case. It's a story of a newlywed couple and the conversations they have just before they go to bed, before they close their eyes and sleep. So when they're lying in bed, the things they say to each other before they sleep. So that's the points where you have all the arguments and the makeup and the breakup and I'm sorry and I'll talk to you tomorrow. I won't do. I'll do. All those things happening just before they sleep. So that's Pillow and Case. It's a brand new one. There are other ones on my still on the editing bench. Like there's Finish Line. There is quite a number of them, but it's all in the making. So work in progress.
Yeah, please, I want you to pray for me to get your parents. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the Untold TV show. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you once again to Bella Aqua for giving us water and their drinks. Get yourself Bella Aqua today, get yourself Bella Aqua tomorrow, and get yourself Bella Aqua forever. Thank you. Bye.
The suppression.